Let's turn to our next question. Orlando Ramirez, you have it.
Thank you. Gentlemen, according to 2006 census figures, 47.5% of the population of Riverside is Latino. I would like to know, if elected, how you plan to increase the ethnic representation in both elected and appointed positions in city government.
Shall I go first?
Mr. Betro, that's you. Sorry.
Well, this is one of those questions where I think you have to make sure that the person answering it walks the walk as well as talks the talk. In my business world, I employ over 450 employees. Over 55% of them are Latino, 10% of them are African American. I have worked as a social worker for over 30 years empowering minorities to get engaged in their governments, get engaged in their communities to make a difference. And I have a long track record of programs that illustrate that. In my political life, I have pushed for Measure GG when others would not support it. This was the measure that determined that there be representation on our commissions from every ward rather than what was happening, which was representation from mostly Ward 1 and Ward 4, which did not represent the diversity in the city. The task forces that I have formed have all had minority representation to solve problems in the community. Not only that, but I have worked diligently to see that leadership rise to the top in this city. Minority leadership like Luis Aguilar for the Riverside School Board this year, like Andy Melendrez, the first Latino councilman in some 25 plus years, like Jose Medina on the Board of Trustees of RCC. I have not just talked about it, I have worked at it, and I will continue to do so to ensure that diversity at the city is priority number one.
Thank you. Mr. Garner, you have 90 seconds.
Thank you. I think it's important that the city work to actually appoint people from all races and ethnic groups to our boards and commissions. Mr. Betro has had 2 recent appointments to the Community Police Review Commission. When I was on that commission, it was 44% Hispanic. That's fairly close to the representation of Hispanics in the city. It's now about 11% Hispanic. Mr. Betro appointed 2 members. They were both Anglo. Mr. Betro appointed the members of the Fairmont Park Citizens Advisory Committee, who were to advise the city on what to do with the 17.5-acre Market Street frontage of the park that was removed from the park. That's an area that is heavily used by Hispanic families. There was not one Hispanic member on that committee who participated in the process. Not one. I think that's wrong.
Thank you. Mr. Betro, if you'd like a 30-second.
Well, that's just inaccurate. There were 2 Latino representatives on the Fairmont Park Task Force, and those are the facts. So, but I think my record stands for itself. The other thing I would add is what I am especially proud of is pushing the city manager on making sure that our city workforce is reflective of our community, and working with the labor representatives. We have increased the minority representation in our workforce by some 300 individuals, over a 4% shift to more of a diverse representative workforce.
All right, thank you. Mr. Garner, yours as well.
Okay. Back to the Fairmont Park Citizens Advisory Committee. There were 2 Hispanics who are named on the committee. My point is that they did not participate in the process of saying what to do with that property. And they simply did not. Read the minutes, read the names of the committee members who participated. There were no Hispanics who participated in that process.